Hello and welcome to a new video. Today we're gonna take a look at my favorite team from last season in the Open Great League, and we're gonna take a look at this season of the Open Great League. And this team, maybe it's going to have to change a little bit. We're gonna talk about it today as well. It was still fine. Like, definitely something that I would still recommend you before like you all click off because you think this team doesn't work. No, this team actually worked out quite well. I did 3 sets, 2 of them were positive, 1 wasn't. But in total I went positive with this team, which is always cool. And one thing that I kind of want to say about this kind of team and what kind of change, like if you take a look at the current season, what kind of change towards the meta, it's mainly Typhlosion. It is mainly that water types don't exist or whatever, but are not as common anymore. And I would do a little bit of a change maybe towards it. While you think Mantine is a good Pokemon against Typhlosion because water against fire, that's not really the case anymore. It's mainly because of Thunder Punch being double super effective against you. And so the easy solution towards that kind of problem, it's not actually a big problem to be fair, would be just to change it to Gligar. And that's maybe something that I would recommend you to do for like the future. Gligar would basically help you out a little bit more with that. Does kind of similar stuff, but I think in the current meta, Gligar might help out a little bit more compared to that Mantine. But yeah, so team totally fine. Definitely something they can run also with the Mantine if you don't have Gligar, or like, again, I don't actually know if Gligar is going to be better because I haven't played, but look at this, we're going to win the first battle. Next opponent, one of the best battlers in the world as well. I played tennis, one of the most consistent battlers. Cool thing about Mantine nowadays though is that it kinda destroys all the Poliwrath, and honestly, like, don't know why, but Poliwrath is literally everywhere, and I don't like, it is a very solid Pokemon. It is just very, very strong, but it's literally everywhere right now, which is kind of mad. And so, as you're gonna see, we're gonna try to go ahead and go for a double aerial ace here, most likely against the Charger Bug, which is hopefully the correct call to do here, as this is going to be able to hopefully do some nice damage. They're not going to use a shield at all. They're going to be able to farm me down, but at least we're going to have still our Annihilate, which can go for Night Slashes. Could have also went into my Magnezone, which would resist everything, but it is what it is. Discharge is going to be able to connect here and do quite some decent damage. I even let this move go through here, as Discharge is going to not knock me out. We can swap out here. They're going to still have their Gligar. Now we're going to have the matchup of Gligar against our Magnezone. And you might think, oh, it's a ground type against electric type Pokemon. It is definitely going to be very good for them. It is actually not that good for them. Like, it's still very solid for them, but it's not like that dominant at all. And as you can see, we can go for a Mirror Shot, which has the potential to debuff the opponent's attack, which we will be able to get here. And this is actually kind of crucial because like this, Aerial Ace is going to be double resisted and debuffed, and we can actually survive all the hits afterwards as well, allowing us to use another shield, allowing us to go for those back-to-back mirror shots. As the opponent swapped out into the Charger Bug, we are still in a decent spot because what we can do is we can go for the full farm down, have a Wild Charge stored now for the opponent with 1 HP left, and this is going to allow us to get the final shield. We still have a Night Slash stored on our Annihilate, and so this is going to be a good game, and we can move on to the next opponent. Let's see what they're going to run. They're going to run the Magnezone in the lead. Is this going to be a mirror matchup? Are we going to find out shortly, as you're going to be able to go for that mirror shot bait. It's kind of risky. A lot of times you get the shield though, so like, let's see if the opponent is going to decide to use a shield. They decide to do exactly this. I can use a shield here as well. Might be a little bit risky as well, but it is actually going to be the mirror shot, which we easily would have been able to survive. But now we can get the final shield from the opponent, and I decided to swap out of here. Why did I do this here? Basically, I kind of want to see what they have in the back, but also because at this point, basically, one charge move of our Mantine is most likely enough to knock out that Magnezone from the opponent. And so I was kind of hoping there wasn't a Mantine in the back, but of course, we're going to encounter kind of a mirror team here, as you might already expect. And so the opponent is going to be able to go for the Aerial Ace. Does not knock me out because they undercharge maybe a little bit too much. I'm not too sure, because like this we can align ourselves. That's going to be quite nice, as now we can see the Annihilate swapping in. We can go into our Mantine, and we have alignment as we are forced to swap out of here against the opponent. I kind of forgot that they had so much energy. Like, honestly, they go for a Wild Charge here and was like, oh, we can maybe still get to a move. No, we cannot. The opponent's going to win this battle with the exact same team as I did, so that's kind of hilarious. Let's move on to the next opponent. We're going to have another Gligar in the lead. Again, it's kind of awkward for this team. Definitely here it's better to have the Manta in the back against the Gligar. It is just going to be quite a little bit better for later on. But as you can see, we were able to hit that Wild Charge. And Wild Charge is doing quite some nice damage. Like, they're already in the deep yellow health with that. I can go for that Mirror Shot bait as well. Hopefully dropping the opponent's attack, this would be lovely, as we will be able to not do this. But I can use another shield, I can force maybe it's going to be a dig, it is going to be an aerial ace, which is kind of sad, but I can still force the final shield from the opponent as well. And even if they're going to be able to knock me out here, I think I'm still going to be okay. They actually said to let the move go through, and so it is going to be in the back, the Ferrothorn and the Feraligatr. And I most likely kind of misplay this as well a little bit, because now my hardest answer to the Ferrothorn is kind of gone. And sometimes I forget that most people are running Thunder on that Ferrothorn, and this is going to be quite awkward for our Mantine. But let's see if we can still deal with it. We can go into our Mantine here against the opponent Feraligatr, trying to overfarm, trying to maybe even completely farm them down so we can hit the opponent's other Pokemon, that Ferrothorn, for some nice neutral damage. We will see the opponent trying to go for the next Hydro Cannon here to try to get the knockout, but it does not work out for them. I can still go for one more fast move and another aerial ace. I can go for one more fast move and another aerial ace. And if I'm lucky, they're running Flash Cannon, this would be kind of nice, but actually at the end of the day, it doesn't actually really matter. The opponent is going to always go for the Power Whip here, Power Whip the best move that they can go for. And so we can still swipe it. Can we still reach a move? We can, and this is going to be crucial, as this Wild Charge, even though it's resisted, it is going to do quite a lot of damage, enough to knock them out, and the Feraligatr has to go up against the Mantine, which we can still win. Next opponent coming through. Oh god, again, like we just only gonna get like the Gligar today apparently, but we can still go for some Mirror Shot damage. This is going to hopefully get the shit from the opponent. It does, which is quite nice. And now I can call that the opponent goes for the aerial ace, or I can decide to go for the shield. I decided to call it, and this was actually quite crucial, because now the opponent is going to be in a very tough spot. They already used one shield, so they're going to be very likely forced to let the move go through here, and they are quite low now. And even if I have to use two shields as well, I'm going to be fine, but they actually decided to use a dig, and so I can go for the full farm now. And look how strong the matchup is for Magnezone. It's kind of mad. As they have the Charger Bug in the back, I decided to swap out of here, which is still fine. It might not be ideal, because it can be a little bit tricky, because we have, of course, that Manta lurking in the back, and we really need alignment here. But we can hit also a Shadow Ball, and this is going to connect and get the opponent so low that nothing really matters of that, because like this, we can let the next move go through as well. We can go ahead and go into our Magnezone, and we just have to hope that the opponent decides to use a shield here, and they don't. And that's game. Honestly, I could have won this battle. Definitely could have won this battle. It just, I came down to a guessing game. Like, I could have most likely went for double Wild Charge, which would have been the safest play. And so I guess it is kind of something that goes down on me. Like, definitely not ideal for me. But again, it's a guessing game at the end of the day. If I got the shield correct there, like the bait correct there, it would have been totally fine. But let's take a look here. We're gonna see the opponent having a good draw. We can farm them down. They're very likely, oh, they're actually going to have a Traveler in the back. I was expecting actually an Altaria in the back. Not too sure if I'm gonna make a video about that team, because I actually was playing today. Well, actually that's coming out on the same day, literally. As soon as I'm done uploading this one, this video is gonna be live as well. But what you're gonna see here as well is that the opponent is going to have the Empoleon. We're going to be able to go for hopefully a knockout here against the opponent. But yeah, I was expecting an Altaria in the back, because I was playing this today as well. Was not a good team. I went 2 and 8, I think, with Altaria in the back instead of the Traveling tier for this Pokemon. So I might find a different team around Empoleon. Didn't work out for me at least, but it is what it is. Here the opponent is going to struggle quite a bit as well. This is going to get the shield from the opponent, as well as I can still reach that Wild Charge, and I think we are going to be in quite a decent yeah, I don't know, spot here, because the opponent still has to go for 2 charge moves. I don't think a Shadow Ball and a Seed Bomb would be enough, and so yeah, we're going to be able to win this battle. Skarmory in the lead, that is going to be quite a decent one. We will see the Feraligatr coming in here as well against us, as we can swap out into the Mantine. We will just try to, yeah, let the move go through. Most likely it's going to be a crunch, which is kind of awkward. I don't know, like, I feel like a lot of people online are playing Ice Beam right now, but like when I actually play Go Battle League, most people are running Crunch. Not too sure what this is all about, but we can align ourselves, and the opponent is still going to be forced to go for a charge move anyway, because farming down a Mantine with a resisted Steel Wing is not going to work out for them at all, and they know this as well, and so they decide to go for that Sky Attack. Sky Attack is going to be yeah, enough to knock us out. We can go ahead and go into our Magnezone, and then comes the Altaria, where we can just go for a Mirror Shot. Mirror Shot is going to be able to get the shield from them, which is lovely, and I can just go straight for the Mirror Shot again. Like, I don't really care too much about it. Like, the opponent's kind of forced to use some shields here. And we see also that they decide to go for another shield against the Mirror Shot, and now it's time to Wild Charge. This is going to do so much damage, and we can just farm them down and win this battle, and we can say good games to the opponent. Next opponent coming through, let's see what they're going to run. We're going to have here the Typhlosion in the lead, which of course is a little bit of a tough one. Also, even for the swap here into our Annihilate, but it's not really ideal. They swap out into the Cresselia though, and so we can go for the bait. Very likely they decide to use a shield here, expecting a Shadow Ball. This is going to get the shield from the opponent as well, and so we can still reach that Shadow Ball, and the opponent is kinda in a tough spot at this point. We can go for that Shadow Ball, get a ton of damage onto them, and swap into our Magnezone, which would be able to resist everything here, and so using that shield maybe does not seem to be that smart, and at the end of the day it wasn't smart, but still a Future Sight, for example, or Moonblast does quite a lot of damage, as you can see here. I can still go for a fast move even if they go back into their fire type, and I do, and go for the Mirror Shot now, which hopefully gonna force the final shield from the opponent, as I kinda want to get rid of my Magnezone. This works out beautifully, as I'm forced to use my final shield here as well. I don't want to get hit by a Thunder Punch. Thunder Punch, of course, a double super effective does do quite some damage, as they have the Azumarill in the back, and I think we're in a decent spot. Here's the thing, Azumarill does resist the damage with a fast move. We are doing only neutral damage and only stab damage, which is kind of cool. And so we're going to be in a very decent spot here. The opponent very likely going to just go for the player of spam, but Aerial Ace is going to connect again. And also, we are going to kind of get the switch clock up again, which you see on the right side. And we can try to swap into our Magnezone soon. Player off does not two-shot me, which is kind of good intel here as well. I can swap out and still get that Mirror Shot off to knock out the opponent's Azumarill. This should be game at this point, as the Typhlosion still needs another fast move to get to their charge move. Aerial Ace is going to knock them out. And this is going to be it for this one, and let's move on to the next one. Let's take a look at the next opponent. It's going to be a perfect lead for us, but you have to be a little bit careful here. We are swapping out into the Mantine, and I make a little bit of a mistake here, but it is what it is. We're going to be able to just go ahead and go for that Water Pulse. Water Pulse is going to be able to now hopefully do some nice damage, but they decide to use a shield. That's fine for us. Like, everything is totally okay so far. There's no real way for them to align themselves here, right? Kinda. We're going to see again, a Scald is going to be fine. This is already the first mistake. I should have just went ahead and went for the, yeah, what's called the Water type move there, Water Pulse. But I didn't, and so this is going to be quite an awkward one, as now Scald is coming through, it doesn't get the debuff again, and here I should have went for the Water Pulse as well. So if I just went one time for the Water Pulse on either of those turns, they would have not survived with exactly 1 HP, and I would have still kept my shield here, which would have been lovely, and it would be very important as well, especially as the opponent gets this attack drop. And you might think this does not really matter too much, the attack drop, like, honestly, who really cares? It might actually matter, and we're gonna see about this here as well. The Water Pulse is gonna get not really a lot of damage onto them, but also we're gonna see a Gligar in the back, and so it's kind of important for us to hit that hard-hitting charge move on our Magnezone. We will be able to do that. We can still go for a Mirror Shot, trying to force a shield from the opponent. Let's see if this is going to work. It is actually going to work, and sadly we don't get an attack drop from the against the opponent there as well, but it's going to be fine. We can let the move go through here. It's going to be an Aerial Ace. I can still reach that Night Slash, and I think with this we should be kind of fine here, right? We can let the move go through. That's going to do quite some nice damage. The opponent tries to knock me out, which is totally okay, and we will see the Aerial Ace going to connect, doing some nice solid damage against us. Skarmory is coming in. We can use a shield. This is going to be that Sky Attack, and we had to call the Brave Bird most likely because they cannot actually get to another move, and so we are still going to be able to win this battle. Kinda got here there most likely, but yeah, we can farm them down and win this one. Final one for today. Let's take a look at this one. We're going to see here the Lickitung in the lead, which is actually kind of a decent lead for us, or decent Pokemon in general to deal with. I go for the bait first, which might not really make too much sense here. Close just went for the Wild Charge, and as you can see, the opponent is going to call this one. We are going to be able to go for another charge move here as well, but it is going to get the shield from the opponent. We will be able to just try to swap out of here. This is hopefully going to be fine, as the Shadow Ball is going to do some nice damage. And I can still even try to go for a Night Sash if I wanted to and use a shield here and try to align myself, because, I don't know, aligning myself is quite important for this battle. And so I try my best. This is going to be able to get not the knockout. And this is kind of awkward for us, because like this, we are going to be forced to let the move go through. I am going to be able to go into the Magnet Zone, but we have to hope there's something in the back that we can deal with. It is going to be the Annihilate. I could have maybe went for a charge move first, but we're still kind of in a tough spot. They catch the move onto the Lickitung, and they have a ton of energy now on their Pokemon. This is like kind of the awkward thing. They still have Night Surge stored on their Annihilate, but they still have, I think, 2 Body Slam stored on the Lickitung. And so I have to take 2 of them here for sure. There might even reach another one in time, to be fair. And so we're kind of in an awkward spot here for sure. We can still try to go for the Aerial Ace. It does work out quite nice, but it is not ideal yet, as we can get the knockout. They're going to have the Annihilate in the back. Can we still win this battle? We are forced to use a shield here for sure, because we have to get rid of the opponent's Fighting Shield as well. But they have 2 charge moves down at this point, and so I'm forced to catch a move on my Magnet Zone. Let's see if this is going to work out. We have some lag here as well. Can we catch the move? We cannot, and they are winning the CMP tie or whatever this is. It kind of looked a little bit weird and laggy, but yeah, sadly they're going to be able to knock me out with that. And that's going to be it for this video. Hopefully you still enjoyed, and if you did, feel free to leave a like, and I'll see you then. Bye bye.